Now, for me, my whole thing, listen, I watched my godfather smoke for years when I was a little fucking kid. From the age of 4 to fucking 7, I saw my godfather roll, smoke a joint, go to a movie, we'd go get a slice of pizza, he'd giggle. I did this with him. Us in this room, it's a harmless fucking vice. Marijuana is a harmless fucking vice. You've never seen nobody tell you that they killed 8 people when they were smoking weed or whatever. I get it. So when I quit cocaine, I considered myself sober because I wasn't on the drug. See, weed didn't make me go kidnap Ken Vella. Drinking alcohol didn't make me kidnap Ken Vella. I kidnapped Ken Vella because I wanted to, but I was also not under the influence of cocaine. I was under the hammer of cocaine. I wasn't high at the time of the kidnapping. I love to tell you I was high, and that's why I took the machine gun out, and that's what made me kidnap. No, it didn't. No, I'd love to tell you that. I'd love to, sell you that story, but I kidnapped him because I was under the hammer of cocaine, not under the influence. 2 different fucking things. So I learned a very important lesson. So to me, getting sober meant getting off the drug that put me behind bars. Once I beat that, I thought I had it beat, and I was doing well with it. Again, do I think I think the edibles are a harmless fucking vice until they start affecting your life. What do I mean by that? If you don't go to work, anything that fucking makes you fuck up, then it's not a harmless vice anymore. But you popping an edible 11 o'clock at night to watch a movie with your girlfriend, I can't get mad at you. I don't care if you have a glass of wine. I don't really give a fuck. But you're still not fucking sober, And something about that always bothered me. It really did. It really fucking did. And then things started happening that made me get more and more upset with it. A couple of years ago, I watched the 30 for 30 with Chris Herron. He's a basketball player. He played for the Celtics, local boy out of Boston, somewhere out of there. I don't want to, like when I told Bill Burr, you're out of Boston. He's like, nah, I'm 30 miles north. Okay, anyway, I don't want to piss nobody off. He played for the Celtics, so he's from the Boston area. I watched this 30 for 30. I watched him tell a story about having a basketball uniform on, warming up with the Celtics, and not having any Vicodins or a certain pill. Don't Percocet, Vicodin, don't quote me on this. But he said that he went outside on the street to the corner with his Celtic uniform on to meet the dude outside to give him the pills because he couldn't play without the pills. That is the most addicting story I've ever heard in my life. And it's the most addicting story because I lived through those stories. I went through those stories. I got 1,000 of them. I don't remember them right now. But I did stupid things like that you wake up the next day and go, I'll never tell nobody that story. But I did that for blow. Like I got on my hands and knees and looked around the toilet bowl because I thought there was a little rock on the floor. I mean, this is the shit that you look at years later and go, I don't even want that in my mind anymore, the things I did. I remember flushing an ounce of Coke because I kept seeing cars stop by my window. I was on the 3rd floor of a hotel, and I was looking out the window, and the cars would stop. So I went and dumped an ounce of Coke, and when I went downstairs, I realized it was an ATM machine. People kept pulling up to take cash out, and I dumped an ounce of fucking Coke out. I got 1,000 of these embarrassing stories. You ever say something and you fucking think about it 10 years later and go, I can't believe I said that in that room? Well, I got about 1,000 of those fucking stories when I was on cocaine. Ruin holidays, ruin people's nights. I still remember being in like Clark, Tennessee or something, one of those West Virginia towns, and driving an hour following a guy with another comic that was innocent, a guy like Mike or Lee that don't know anything about anything. They just want to be comedians, and I'm making them drive. I didn't make them drive me at gunpoint. I asked them for a ride, and I paid them for gas to follow some fucking redneck to a trailer for me to get fucking cranked, to get high. I got 1,000 of these fucking stories. So I knew exactly what Chris Heron was talking about when he said that. That gave me but for me, I was a basketball player. You know, I quit basketball after I was a freshman because I my feelings got hurt and I didn't want to do it anymore. But I know what it is I wanted to be a professional basketball player. When he said that, I'm like, so here I am in the Boston Garden, this is like, you know, where basketball was invented with Red Auerbach. I'm on the fucking I'm on the Boston Celtic team. I'm fucking starting. But before my fucking game, I can't play because I don't have a Vicodin or a Percocet or a Quaalude in me. So I'm going to go out into the street with my fucking uniform on and meet a dealer. That was just too much for me to comprehend. So I reached out to him. I donated to his fucking charity, which I do ever since that, and he came on the podcast. While I'm fucking talking, this is the piece of shit that I am, okay? This is when I started getting mad. He's on the podcast dropping knowledge about sobriety. We had him call in. He's dropping knowledge about sobriety and what he was feeling and the second chance his wife gave him and all this shit. And I'm loving all this stuff because this is the stuff I fucking live for. And within that, I'll never forget that's, you know, and I'm embarrassed about this. Somewhere in that night when I was listening with the headphones on, I still remember taking a hit off the joint and putting the joint down and going, what did I just do? This guy is telling me a story about redemption and all this fucking drug use, and that's fucking horrible. And he's trying to help people, and he has a rehab, and his whole family is involved in this. And here I am on the other end of the phone smoking a fucking joint. What type of fucking... That was one episode that I regretted of all time on the church. That should have been a drug-free episode, and we should have done like 10 free drug-free episodes out of respect for fucking Chris, but I didn't. I didn't even realize what I had done till like a week later. I'm like, I can't believe I was smoking pot while I was talking on the phone to Chris Heron, a guy who's saving fucking people on a daily basis. But me, the dumb fucking pothead I am, I can't realize that this just wasn't even fucking right. You don't know how bad I felt about that podcast. I should have taken it down, but I left it up, and I'm still embarrassed about it. But it was things like that that led us to what we're going to talk about today, you know. That was one story that I was very ashamed of that. And it was like a couple days later, I'm like, I'm on the phone with Chris Heron, and I'm smoking fucking dope. What the fuck is wrong with me?